Well, David Stockman was a foot soldier in the Reagan Revolution, but the former White House budget director says that revolution was a failure because it didn't reduce the size of the government. And he doesn't think the new House Republican majority will achieve that goal either. He joins us right now in studio. We're so glad to have you back.
Thank you.
So the change potentially in leadership, or the change in leadership in the House, it's not going to make a difference in your view?
Well, I think there's one small good thing that happened. Ron Paul is going to be chairman of the subcommittee that has jurisdiction over the Fed. And I can't wait for the hearings, because finally
they'll be lively.
They'll be lively, but there's going to be some real exchange and some real debate. I think Bernanke and the Fed have the country buffaloed. They have the market happy as a clam, I guess, but buffaloed. This is a dangerous thing they're doing, and you know, we can talk more about it, but I think one thing that'll come out of the new Congress is a review of this whole series of bailouts and monetary stimuluses that we've had now for the last 2 years.
We were just talking with John Writing about the independence of the Fed, and a lot more viewers have been writing in with questions about that recently. I mean, they don't look so independent, right? They ask Wall Street, how much should we give you? They say $500 billion. Okay, we'll give you $600. And of course, it looks like they're just sort of furthering the kind of Keynesian policies of the current administration and the current sort of regime in Washington. Do you have concerns about the independence of the Fed?
Absolutely. An independent Fed was the Fed we had when I was in the government. Volcker was the head of it. Every morning, the traders on Wall Street, the bond traders, the stock traders would wake up worried and nervous. What might he do? Because they didn't own him.
People were throwing bricks through his windows,
he was
right?
doing what was necessary for the financial stability, for the deflation program at that time, and for the good of the economy. Today, the Fed is basically scared to death that the boys and girls and robots on Wall Street are going to have a hissy fit. And therefore, these programs, one after another, are simply designed to somehow pacify the stock market and hope they can keep the stock indexes going up, and that somehow that will fool the people into thinking they're wealthier and they will spend money. The people aren't buying that. You know, Main Street is not stupid enough to believe that engineered rallies as a result of QE2 stimulus are making them wealthier, and so they should go out and buy another Coach bag. This is really crazy stuff that I can't say enough negative about, to tell you the truth.
So fiscally, can we afford to be doing what the Fed's doing?
No, it's bad fiscally as well, because remember, interest rates are a price of money. Short-term money, long-term money. Prices are supposed to signal the market as to what things really cost. The Fed is telling a lot of lies to the market, like money is free all the way out to 5-7 years. But more important, it's telling all the politicians on Capitol Hill you can issue unlimited debt because it doesn't cost anything. We got $9 trillion of traded debt, of Treasury debt. Upwards of 70% of that has maturities of 5 years or less, down to 90 days. All of those maturities are 1% down to 10 basis points. So from the point of view of Congress, the cost of carrying the debt is essentially free for, you know, rounding errors for government purposes. Now, when you tell politicians that they can issue massive amounts of debt, $100 billion a month for free,
right,
how do you expect them to do the right thing and ask their constituents to sacrifice and maybe raise taxes on some people and cut spending
David,
on others?
We got 20 seconds left here. I mean, how do you ultimately expect this to play out? I know you're so worried about the deficit, you're worried about the Fed here. I mean, how does this play out?
It sounds like it can only end in doom.
Yeah.
I think the Fed is injecting high-grade monetary heroin into the financial system of the world, and one of these days it's going to kill the patient.
All right. Unfortunately, that's all we have time for, because I have a million other questions. Especially since I consider you much more than a foot soldier in the Reagan Revolution. Surely someone who took really a great part in engineering the boom that we saw after Ronald Reagan. And, of course, I have a million tax questions, but I'm going to leave them for now. Hopefully you'll come back.
But you do say we shouldn't extend those tax cuts.
We should not extend those tax cuts either to the rich or anybody else.
We're going to leave it on that note. We're back in a moment, everybody.